The Far Cry franchise is a popular set of games that consist of stabbing a guy in a realistic manner while also pulling off medical wonders.
No! Don't do that!
Okay.
One of the games though is usually overlooked and not really talked about, but I hold very near and dear to my heart. Yeah, it's Far Cry 4.
Hola.
Should I go or should I stay? With it being released in 2014 and admittedly changing very little from 3, it meant that fans were turned off from 4 pretty much from the start. Well, 12-year-old me found a box of the game somewhere and decided to play it, and was quite entertained by it. But current me realized there isn't really that much content about this game, hence the video. Yeah, I don't know how to transition out. The game starts out with a message from AJ's mom, AJ being the main character of Far Cry 4, and he needs to spread his mother's ashes at a certain place in her home country. But we get a call from a guy from the US Embassy telling us that if we enter Kyrat, yeah, that'll happen. But a helicopter lands and a very peeved pagan man steps out and gives one of his soldiers a forceful resignation letter. And he throws a bag over AJ and Darpan and takes them to his compound, where we have an eventful meal. But Darpan was texting the group chat about his whereabouts and gets sent away. And Min has to call one of his cronies for something and leaves AJ alone. So we get up and we find Darpan getting interrogated. So we try leaving, but we are met with Sabal and Golden Path. And we were told to run to a truck where we find out that AJ is already more psychopathic than Jason.
No. Bro.
And we get driven off a cliff, and Sabal calls us and tells us to go to a tower, which AJ does, and we are introduced to one of the new features in Far Cry 4. The grappling hook, where we can throw a rope and climb. Yes! This entire part was just used to introduce this mechanic. Nothing else. So we're at the tower with Sabal where we get attacked, but an avalanche comes to our rescue, and after a bit, Sabal digs us up and takes us to a village where we meet Amita. We get cut loose and we definitely don't meander around, and we're given an option of 2 missions between our newly introduced characters. And we choose Sabal since Amita was mean to us.
Darpan's dead. And you brought me this.
And we get introduced to the Far Cry staple climbing tower, and destroy and get shown locations. After we see Bajra handle a bow expertly, we get to meet my favorite character Longinus, who's a priest/weapons dealer who acts a bit unhinged. But Sabal gives us a call through our Nokia and we have to defend the town from Royal Guard, and once that's done, we have to do a hostage rescue mission and clear an outpost. Clearing out outpost hasn't changed much from 3, but there is one difference. For us elephants. Also, after taking out an outpost, instead of hearing about the bulletin board, the quests come in through maps or people you can interact with.
My wife was eaten by rabid honey badgers. What is wrong with you? Why are you laughing?
Oh, shit.
Outposts also get attacked by royal guards sometimes, which we can help defend. There are also these fortresses that are heavily guarded, and once taken out, the attacks stop. And some of these fortresses actually have story implications that I can't talk about right now since I'm still in Act 1. So... Soldier 148 tells us that Amita and Sabal are fighting, and that whoever we choose to help affects everyone. So I choose Sabal because the comment Amita made earlier.
This is what we get for rescuing Ajay. We hit Paul's house, he slaughters a village.
And our job is to meet up with Golden Path and defend the camp from the most ball-twisting enemy in the game, and we stop the attack. So AJ's doing important stuff, and we meet up with Bajra and she tells us that our dad was murdered and to check out his house. So we do, and we see it's been squatted by some dudes named Yogi and Reggie, and we try kicking them out, but we get drugged and pass out. When we wake up, we find ourselves in an arena, and we have to fight butt booty naked, and we survive. And the main woman, Noore, tells us that Pagan's henchman has her family hostage. Oh yeah, the henchman. Probably should have introduced him earlier. So there's Paul, the American, who has Noore's family, and Yuma, who's also an American, I think, and is also going to be important later, and Noore herself, who doesn't really agree with the royal army, but goes along. For obvious reasons. We go to Sabal and he tells us to go to a temple to learn the country's religious roots. But along the way, Pagan questions AJ's sexuality and affirms that he would be supportive.
Honey pups, or have you been dazzled by Sabal's flowing locks and bad boy jawline? Hey, each to his own. That's your lifestyle choice to make. He isn't my cup of tea, contrary to the rash assumptions some may make about my appearance. I am indeed batting for the other team.
So we make it and grab a basket, and we start lighting some candles and some other stuff. But Royal Army attack and we hold them off. Next mission is to meet up with Longinus, and he tells us that the Golden Path need weapons and sends AJ to the Himalayas to get a shipment full of weapons. But instead we find a little box and we head back to Kyrat, and Longinus opens the box and we see that they are blood diamonds inside. And AJ asks how they're gonna get the weapons now. So Longinus tells us about a business farm, and AJ goes and tells the Golden Path. Sabal and Amita are having a dispute over the Flower farm. But this time, I chose Amita because I don't have a Skrillex license. So we defend the plants from these Molotov guys. And we hold them off and we successfully take over the farm.
Oh shit. Completely forgot about these guys. Better lighten the neighbor!
AJ breaks into his house to confront Yogi and Reggie.
Still alive, bags.
Love that line. So AJ wants them out of the house, but they opt to smoke first, then leave. However, AJ notices a frame behind them that held a tanka. And the guys tell him that we can find pieces around Kyrat, and that one of them is in a cave. So we go and find it. And the screen goes woozy as the game transitions into Shangri-La and tells us the story of Kalanag. And his goal is to find paradise on Earth, but we find a little kitty cat that helps us kill some demons. We then spin some wheels and see a giant statue turn, which has a chained up bell that we free, and in return, it rings and gets rid of the demons. We wake up to find that we put part of the tanka up in a crazed state, and Yogi asks us if we got some of that good, but I don't. So they leave and we get access to the Ghale residence. Here we have the Ghale household with 2 floors, a high-tier bathroom, good company. Later we meet up with Amita and she tells us about an attack on some statues by the Plur, so we set out to stop them, but it's too late for one of the statues. So we focus on the untouched one and we defuse the bomb on it, and we have to hold off Royal Army. And once we do that, Amita calls us and wants us to block the way in, so we can be like, "Oh no! This rock blocked the way! How unfortunate! No!" We get a call from Noore saying that she needs AJ's help, and we find her panicking because the Plur is going back to the US of A, which means that she will never see her family again. So we sneak into a truck carrying torturees, and we get driven into the Plur's mansion where we sneak around the place and get into an interrogation room and disguise ourselves as an interrogatee and headbutt him. So we put him in a car and start driving, but our passenger wakes up and he tells us how he killed Noore's family a long time ago and that his daughter was writing letters to her.
Well, with Ashley, my daughter's help, I told her it was for a pen pal.
So I take him to the Golden Path so he can learn the error of his ways. After a bit of wandering around, we go to Amita and she tells us about a factory manufacturing the spoon drug, and she wants us to take it over so they can convert it to something else. But Sabal wants to destroy it. So the choice is basically fun versus good for Kyrat.
Damn, I don't know who to choose. You know, I'm just gonna go with Amita because the Red Rat thought she was hot.
She's extremely pretty for a video game character.
So we flush out the factory and we take it over. We go back to Sabal and Amita and they're arguing about the future of Kyrat. But one of them brings up that Noore has to be brought down too. But Ajay's not a fan and wants to do his own thing. So we go to the arena and instead of doing what we came for, AJ procrastinates and just starts pressing shit. But we get back on track and find Noore, and I chose to confront her, and AJ tells her her family's fate and she goes crazy and kills herself. After that, AJ thinks to himself, going to random ass places is fun. So we do that and we get contacted by Willis, and he tells us our IP address and we have to help him clear an airport so he can safely have a meeting. When he lands, the guy wants to take him to Yuma, but we cover Willis until the entire place is clear and we meet him face to face, where he makes a nod to Jason.
Went better than the SoCal douchebag at the babysit at my last stop.
Fly, Jason, fly!
But he's interrupted when he notices a plane taking off and tells AJ to jump on it. No balls. And AJ activates a dormant power of his and stops gravity and starts it again. And when we land, he opens the file and finds out it's more redacted than the SCP for him. So we confront Willis and he tells us the more work we do for him, the more he will reveal. And he takes us to the Himalayan mountains to kill one of Yuma's lieutenants. And Willis picks us up after breakfast. We go back to Willis and he has one last job for AJ, and reveals that AJ's dad really did not like his mom, and Willis sends him to kill another lieutenant. So we do, and we go to get picked up. But Willis reveals that we've been killing CIA deep cover operatives and betrays us, and we see him fly away and we get lulled to sleep. We wake up and get met with Pagan and Yuma, and he tells us that he still cares about AJ and leaves us alone. But we get drugged and we have to make a grapple while being zonked, and we escape. But we fall to the ground and see a Yeti. While I was writing this script, I found out the DLCs take place in between the game. Yeah. So Escape from Durgesh is a short roguelike where you gather supplies, and if you die, you go back to the start. There's also these objectives you can do for Pagan Min, which if completed, you get help around the playable area. And before the events of the DLC, Pagan apparently found you, and instead of throwing AJ back into the prison, he leaves him in a tower and tells the Golden Path where he is. So Amita Sabal managed to get a helicopter for him, but we have to defend him from Yuma's men, and we take off. The second DLC takes place right after, but I never played this one, so I'll give you the super summarized version. AJ's helicopter crashes and we have to survive 4 nights of Yetis. And then you make your way to kill this Yeti and then go down to this tree place that we destroy, and AJ gets turned into a Yeti. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this one isn't canon. Or my theory is it's just that this is AJ's dream before he wakes up. My AJ sees Amita sleeping by us, and instead of being grateful, he just asks where Sabal is. Like, he doesn't even say thank you. But for Sabal's version, he does say thank you. He doesn't even ask for Amita, and I'm pretty sure he even laughs like, is AJ gay? Or is he? Maybe he's playing hard to get. As we can see right here, he's leaning in 54.6 millimeters into Amita's perimeter. Another theory is that since women are scary creatures of unknown proportions, AJ is understandably afraid to say anything. But the most probable is that AJ is a lone lion that's too Chad to need a woman. After our recovery, we get sent to take a fuel truck and blow up the gate that was preventing the Golden Path from going to the north. But more royal guards show up, however, it's a futile effort. Sabal then sends us in to check up on Golden Path that were undercover in the north, and they seem pretty okay. But Pagan comes to talk to the couple and executes them. So we chase after him and put a stop to his life force. But Pagan calls us and tells us that he's still alive and to cry harder. Also, yeah, I haven't upgraded anything. It's just how I enjoy playing the game. Otherwise, it'd just be too easy. Like I took out the Player's Fortress with no alarms before I took him out. And I only used the bow and some C4. Alright, enough coping. We go to the tent where the Golden Path are watching the broadcast by Pagan Min, and he basically says that we won't do shit and that we're some ass bitches, and exposes where Yuma is. So AJ goes there to find her, but we only find a note, but Yuma sneaks up behind him and blows hallucinogenic drugs in his face. We wake up, and if we reread the note, it's different, as there's new capital-sized words, and if we take those words, it spells out. So we find Yuma, and we're about to kill her.
AJ, no.
No, do I feel
No.
bad?
Remember, she literally just imprisoned you, like, a few days ago. Yeah, serves you right. Bastard.
We have to fight these Shangri-La guys, and we kill the last dude. When we get out of the drug-fueled craze, we find out we were chopping up Yuma. Oof. After that, we meet up with Badra, and she tells us about a temple that Amita wants to destroy and Sabal wants to save. And she also adds if we choose Sabal, he will turn her into this Turun Matara. So now we have the complete opposite dilemma from the last one, where there are clear upsides. Now they want to do bullwash. But I chose Amita since I'm already locked in her path. So we set up bombs while fighting off Royal Army and opposing Golden Path, and the temple is destroyed. We then see that a town is under attack, so AJ goes to an artillery site and clears the place and everyone flees. AJ then gets called over, and since I sided with Amita, she tells me that Sabal needs to be taken out and parallels Pagan.
Kill him. I'm being very particular with my words, Ajay.
So I confront him and I let him go. Since, why would I shoot him? He's an alpha triad, or whatever the kids say these days. Also, I didn't know letting them live was an option until now. Yeah, on to the final 2 missions. We storm Pagan's fortress, where we take down guards and helicopters and blow open a couple doors. And we finally confront Pagan, but he invites us to eat and reminisce about the start of the game. And we get the choice to shoot him. And I don't know a single person who actually shoots Pagan. So AJ sits down, and Pagan reveals that he was planning on giving Kyrat to him, and that the whole Golden Path thing was unnecessary. So he stands up and takes us to spread our mom's ashes. And Pagan takes a helicopter and gives Kyrat to AJ, and he flies away. Copyrighted music plays, and the game ends. There's actually one more cutscene after the credits roll. As if you go to Turtha, I think that's how you say it. At least for me, you will see Amita conscripting child soldiers, and she tells us to just deal with it. This also happens with Sabal if you go back to the temple. Like the best ending in the game is to just sit your ass back down and enjoy that Cran Rangoon. Hello, thank you all for watching to the end again. I really appreciate it. I'm in my recording space this time, so you don't have to hear the god-awful audio. But I can't guarantee that it'll be the same quality next time. Oh, and there's not enough leftover video for the little montage. So here's an outro screen. Yep, built it myself. Alright, see you all next time.